The impromptu Bring Your Pet to Work event at the Earth Embassy was in full swing, with the Zarantine delegation marveling at the incredible array of predators on display. Tigers lounged lazily at their owners' feet, while wolves sat attentively, awaiting commands from their human companions. In the center of the room, Colonel John Hawkins stood proudly next to Sobek, his massive saltwater crocodile, which lay motionless save for the occasional flick of its powerful tail. Ambassador King beamed with pride as he watched the awestruck expressions on the faces of the Zarantine visitors. The event had quickly transformed into a showcase of the remarkable bonds between humans and their animal partners, with each creature demonstrating its unique skills and unwavering obedience. Amidst the excited chatter and gasps of amazement, Dr. Zara Orion, the renowned Zarantine zoologist, approached Ambassador King and Colonel Hawkins. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity as she observed the easy rapport between the humans and their predatory companions. "I must say I am utterly fascinated by the relationships you have fostered with these magnificent creatures," Dr. Orion said, her voice filled with admiration. "The trust and respect evident in each interaction is truly remarkable. I would love to learn more about the history and techniques behind such extraordinary partnerships." Ambassador King smiled warmly, his eyes reflecting the deep connection he shared with his own wolf companion, Luna. "It's a bond that has been cultivated over thousands of years, Dr. Orion. Our ancestors first began the process of domestication with wolves, which eventually gave rise to the dogs we know today." Colonel Hawkins nodded in agreement, gently stroking Sobek's scaly head. "It's all about patience, understanding, and mutual respect. We work with their natural instincts, not against them. Positive reinforcement and consistent training are key in shaping the behavior of even the most formidable predators." As the conversation deepened, Dr. Orion listened intently, her mind whirling with the implications of this newfound knowledge. She couldn't help but wonder if humanity's true strength lay not in their technological advancements, but in their unparalleled ability to forge alliances with apex predators. The event continued to unfold, with the Zarantine delegates eagerly interacting with the various creatures, marveling at the depth of the human-animal bonds on display. As the day drew to a close and the visitors prepared to depart, whispers of the incredible partnerships witnessed on Earth began to spread rapidly throughout the galactic community. In the days that followed, the Earth Embassy found itself inundated with requests from countless alien species, each clamoring for an opportunity to witness these extraordinary relationships firsthand. Earth's status as a galactic curiosity skyrocketed, drawing unprecedented attention from every corner of the universe. Amidst the growing fervor, Ambassador Sirius sat in his office, lost in thought. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was merely the beginning of a grand cosmic saga, one in which humanity's unique ability to tame and ally with apex predators would play a crucial role in shaping the destiny of the galaxy itself. The future, it seemed, held untold possibilities, and Earth's place in the cosmic order was about to be redefined in ways no one could have ever imagined. As the news of Earth's extraordinary human-predator partnerships spread throughout the galaxy, a new delegation arrived at the embassy, led by the renowned Krizaxian Ambassador Zorn. Known for his skepticism and rigorous scientific approach, Zorn expressed doubts about the validity of the rumors circulating about humanity's ability to control apex predators. He challenged Ambassador King to provide concrete evidence to support these claims. Ambassador King, confident in the bonds forged between humans and Earth's most formidable creatures, arranged a series of live demonstrations at a nearby wildlife reserve. He extended an invitation to Ambassador Zorn and his team to witness firsthand the remarkable relationships on display. The Krizaxian delegation accepted, eager to see if the rumors held any truth. As they arrived at the reserve, the delegation was greeted by a team of experienced human trainers and their animal companions. Lions, tigers, and bears roamed freely within the confines of the reserve, their powerful presence both awe-inspiring and intimidating. The trainers began their demonstrations, showcasing the animals' obedience and trust through a series of exercises and routines. The Krizaxians watched in stunned silence as the trainers commanded the predators with ease, their voices firm but gentle. The animals responded with precision and grace, executing complex maneuvers and displaying a level of cooperation that defied belief. Ambassador Zorn's skepticism slowly gave way to grudging admiration as he observed the undeniable bond between human and beast. Amidst the delegation, a young Krazaxian xenobiologist named Dr. Lyra Vex found herself utterly captivated by the human-predator dynamic. She engaged in deep discussions with the reserve staff, her mind whirling with questions about the psychological and evolutionary factors that contributed to such unique relationships. Dr. Vex began to formulate a theory that the key to human success lay not only in their ability to domesticate predators, but also in their capacity for empathy and understanding across species boundaries. As the demonstrations continued, an unexpected incident occurred that would forever change the Krazaxian perception of humanity. Fenrir, a massive and aggressive alpha wolf, known for his resistance to training, suddenly broke free from his enclosure. Panic gripped the delegation as they feared for their safety, but Ambassador King remained calm and composed. With measured steps, Ambassador King approached the snarling wolf, his body language exuding an air of authority and confidence. He locked eyes with Fenrir, communicating through subtle gestures and vocalizations. To the astonishment of the Krazaxians, Fenrir's aggression began to dissipate, replaced by a grudging respect for the human standing before him. Ambassador King reached out his hand, and Fenrir, after a moment's hesitation, lowered his head in submission, allowing the ambassador to escort him back to the enclosure peacefully. The display of human control over an untamed hostile predator left an indelible impression on Ambassador Zorn and his team. They could no longer deny the truth of the rumors they had heard. The human's abilities extended far beyond mere speculation, and the implications were staggering. Ambassador Zorn requested further meetings with Ambassador King and his staff, eager to discuss the potential impact of human-predator relationships on a galactic scale. Dr. Vex's fascination with the subject only grew stronger. She petitioned her superiors to allow her to remain on Earth as a long-term observer, determined to deepen her understanding of the human-predator bond and its potential applications in interspecies diplomacy. To her delight, her request was granted, and she became the first Krazaxian to take up residence in the Earth Embassy, marking the beginning of an unprecedented scientific and cultural exchange between the two worlds. As news of the Krazaxian delegation's experiences spread, the galactic community's interest in Earth intensified. More alien species, including the technologically advanced Quarians and the philosophical Xylanthians, dispatched their own delegations to witness the marvel of human-predator partnerships firsthand. Earth found itself at the center of a growing interstellar network, its unique relationship with apex predators becoming the catalyst for a new era of galactic cooperation and discovery. The wildlife reserve became a hub of activity, with human trainers and their animal companions hosting demonstrations and educational sessions for the ever-growing number of alien visitors. Ambassador King and his team worked tirelessly to foster understanding and build bridges between Earth and the various galactic civilizations, using the human-predator bond as a powerful symbol of unity and possibility. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the Earth Embassy bustled with the energy of countless alien delegates, each eager to learn from and collaborate with humanity. The once isolated planet found itself at the forefront of a new age, its unique connection with apex predators, paving the way for unparalleled opportunities and challenges alike. And amidst it all, Dr. Vex continued her studies, delving deeper into the mysteries of the human-predator relationship. She knew that her work held the potential to revolutionize interspecies, communication, and diplomacy, and she was determined to unravel the secrets that lay at the heart of this extraordinary bond. The future, it seemed, was ripe with possibilities, and Earth's role in shaping the destiny of the galaxy had only just begun. As Earth's prominence in the galactic community continued to grow, the arrival of the Olovian Royal Academy of Sciences team marked a new chapter in the unfolding saga of human-predator partnerships. Dr. Galaran, a slender figure with iridescent scales and piercing violet eyes, stepped off the shuttle with an air of cautious excitement. "Welcome to Earth," Ambassador King greeted the Olovian delegation. "We're honored to host such esteemed scientists." Dr. Galaran inclined her head. "The honor is ours, Ambassador. We've heard remarkable things about your species' abilities." As the group made their way to the wildlife reserve, Commander Valex, a towering Olovian with cybernetic enhancements, scanned their surroundings with barely concealed suspicion. The first days of observation were a flurry of activity. Dr. Galloran and her team shadowed the human handlers, meticulously documenting every interaction with the Pride of Lions. They watched in awe as Sarah, a seasoned handler, approached the lioness Nala and her newborn cubs. "Easy, girl," Sarah murmured, her voice low and soothing. She extended her hand, allowing Nala to catch her scent. The lioness rumbled a soft greeting, then shifted to reveal her cubs. Dr. Galloran's assistant gasped as Sarah gently stroked one of the tiny cubs. "Incredible," the xenobiologist whispered, furiously taking notes. "The level of trust is unprecedented." As the days passed, Dr. Galloran's fascination deepened. She observed the handlers using a combination of vocalizations, body language, and carefully timed rewards to communicate with the lions. The Olovian scientist found herself captivated by the nuanced dance of mutual respect and understanding between human and predator. Commander Valex, however, remained unconvinced. His cybernetic eye whirred as he tracked the movements of Mufasa, the pride's massive male. "They're dangerous beasts," he muttered to Dr. Galloran. "This farce can't last forever." The commander's words proved prophetic, though not in the way he intended. As the handlers prepared for a routine feeding, alarms blared across the compound. Mufasa's enclosure gate had malfunctioned, allowing the lion to escape. Panic erupted among the Olovian team. Dr. Galloran froze, her scales paling in fear. Commander Valex reached for his weapon, only to remember it had been confiscated upon their arrival. But amidst the chaos, Sarah remained calm. She spotted Mufasa pacing near the perimeter fence, his tail lashing in agitation. With measured steps, she approached the lion, her hands open and relaxed at her sides. "Hey, big guy," she called softly. Mufasa's head swiveled towards her, his amber eyes locking onto her face. "It's okay. You're okay." The Olovians watched in stunned silence as Sarah continued to speak to Mufasa, her voice never wavering. Slowly, the tension drained from the lion's massive frame. He padded towards Sarah, bumping his head against her hip with a rumbling purr. As Sarah guided Mufasa back to his enclosure, Dr. Galloran turned to Commander Valex. The security chief's face was a mask of disbelief. I don't understand," he stammered. "How did she—" Dr. Galloran's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Commander, I believe we've just witnessed something truly extraordinary. This goes beyond mere training or domestication. The bond between humans and these predators is unlike anything we've ever encountered." News of the incident spread rapidly through subspace channels. The Interstellar Symposium on Human-Predator Relations, hastily organized by the Earth Embassy, soon became the most anticipated scientific event in recent galactic history. As delegates from across the cosmos began to arrive, Dr. Galloran found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. She knew that her findings would reshape the galaxy's understanding of interspecies relationships. But as she prepared her presentation, a nagging question lingered in her mind. What other surprises did humanity have in store for the galactic community? Community. The Interstellar Symposium on Human-Predator Relations evolved into something far grander. Ambassador Sirius of the Zarantine Confederation seized upon the growing fascination, proposing an unprecedented event, the first intergalactic symposium on human-predator symbiosis. The neutral world of Cyrillon was chosen to host this momentous gathering. Its sprawling capital city bustled with activity as dignitaries, scientists, and military advisors from every major stellar power arrived. Earth's delegation, led by Ambassador King, Colonel Hawkins, and Dr. Elizabeth Archer, prepared to present humanity's unique bond with apex predators to the assembled cosmic community. As the symposium opened, the grand exhibition hall fell silent. Ambassador King stepped forward, flanked by an impressive array of Earth's most formidable creatures. Lions prowled alongside their human handlers, while eagles perched on outstretched arms. The audience watched in awe as the humans demonstrated their control through a series of intricate obedience exercises and routines. Dr. Galloran leaned forward, her scales shimmering with excitement. "Remarkable," she whispered to her assistant. The level of synchronicity is beyond anything we observed at the reserve. However, not all were convinced. Commander Valix, his cybernetic eye whirring, stood abruptly. This is nothing but a circus act, he declared, his voice cutting through the murmurs of the crowd. I demand a true test of human control. Before anyone could react, Valix activated a hidden control panel. A massive door at the far end of the arena slid open with a thunderous groan. From the shadows emerged a creature of nightmares, the Orcs, Cyrilon's apex predator. Its scaled hide glistened under the lights, razor-sharp claws leaving gouges in the floor as it advanced. Panic erupted. Delegates scrambled for the exits as the Orcs' roar shook the very foundations of the building. Ambassador King turned to Colonel Hawkins, his face grim. It's up to you now, Colonel. Show them what humanity is capable of. Hawkins nodded, his eyes sharp. He vaulted over the barrier, landing on the arena floor with a specialized stun baton in hand. The Orcs' eyes locked onto him, pupils constricting to slits. What followed was a display of skill and instinct that left the audience breathless. Hawkins moved with fluid grace, always staying just out of reach of the Orcs' slashing claws. He used the baton not as a weapon, but as an extension of his will, guiding the creature's movements and attention. Look at his body language, Dr. Archer commented, her voice carrying over the tense silence. He's establishing dominance through posture and eye contact, just as we've observed in wolf packs. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Gradually, the Orcs' attacks became less frenzied. Its snarls turned to confused huffs. Hawkins never faltered, maintaining unwavering eye contact with the beast. Finally, in a moment that would be replayed on countless holofeeds across the galaxy, the Orcs lowered its massive head. Hawkins reached out, placing his hand on the creature's snout. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. As the symposium continued, Dr. Archer took center stage. Her presentation delved into the biological and psychological foundations of human-predator bonding. Holographic displays illustrated the neural pathways and hormonal responses unique to humans. Our research suggests that millennia of domestication have fundamentally altered human neurobiology, Dr. Archer explained. We've developed enhanced empathy and communication skills, along with a primal understanding of animal behavior. She went on to propose a bold theory that humanity's evolutionary path had been shaped by their partnership with apex predators. This symbiotic relationship may have driven the development of our advanced cognitive abilities and social structures, she continued. It could very well be the key to our species' future among the stars. The reaction to Dr. Archer's presentation was mixed. Some delegates dismissed her ideas as pseudoscientific speculation, while others were captivated by the implications. Ambassador Sirius nodded thoughtfully, his antennae twitching with interest. As the symposium drew to a close, it became clear that a new schism had emerged in the galactic community. The militaristic Gortogs denounced humanity as a potential threat, their representatives storming out of the final session. Other factions, led by moderates like Ambassador Sirius, called for further dialogue and cultural exchange. Earth found itself at the center of a cosmic ideological struggle. Some worlds began severing ties with the human sphere of influence, while others eagerly sought new alliances, hoping to unlock the secrets of human-predator symbiosis. Ambassador King stood at the viewport of the Earth delegation's ship, watching as Cyrilon receded into the distance. The weight of recent events hung heavy on his shoulders. He knew that humanity's place in the galactic order had been irrevocably altered. The question now was whether their unique abilities would be seen as a bridge between species or a wedge driving them apart. Apart. The aftermath of the Cyrilon Symposium reverberated across the galaxy. Earth's embassy on the neutral world of Thalassia became a hive of activity as Ambassador King and his team worked tirelessly to navigate the shifting political landscape. During a late-night strategy session, a priority transmission cut through the tense atmosphere. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the stern visage of Admiral Zhao. "Ambassador, we have a situation," Zhao's voice crackled with urgency. "Our intelligence networks have intercepted communications from the Gortog Empire. They're mobilizing." King's brow furrowed. "Mobilizing? Against whom? Us, Zhao replied grimly. They've dispatched Commander Kruzak to assess what they're calling the Beastmaster threat. We have reason to believe their intentions are far from diplomatic. As if on cue, the embassy's security systems chimed. A Gortog delegation had arrived, requesting an immediate audience. King exchanged a knowing glance with Colonel Hawkins before straightening his uniform. Let's not keep our guests waiting, he said, his voice permeated with steel. The meeting chamber buzzed with tension as Commander Kruzak strode in, flanked by his entourage. The Gortog's cybernetic implants glinted menacingly under the soft lighting. Commander Kruzak, King greeted, his tone carefully neutral. To what do we owe the pleasure? Kruzak's mandibles clicked in what passed for a Gortog smile. Merely a courtesy call, Ambassador. We're most interested in your unique relationship with Earth's fauna. The air grew thick with unspoken threats as pleasantries were exchanged. Kruzak's eyes darted constantly, cataloging every detail of the embassy's layout. As the meeting concluded, King couldn't shake the feeling of impending danger. His instincts screamed that something was terribly wrong. Those instincts proved correct mere hours later when alarms blared throughout the compound. Security feeds showed chaos erupting in the attached wildlife preserve. Gortog operatives had struck with brutal efficiency, stunning handlers and making off with their prize. Mufasa. King's fist clenched as he watched the lion being loaded onto a Gortog transport. This is an act of war, he snarled, turning to his staff. Initiate emergency protocols. I want every available resource tracking that ship. Across the galaxy, on the secret Gortog base of Xylos Prime, Mufasa roared his defiance. The sound echoed through stark metal corridors, a primal challenge to his captors. Kruzak loomed over the lion's reinforced cage, his cybernetic eye whirring as it analyzed the creature. You will learn your place, he hissed. The galaxy will see that even Earth's mightiest beast bow before Gortog might. Days stretched into weeks as Mufasa endured a relentless barrage of training sessions. Shock prods crackled with energy, stinging the lion's flesh. Hollow projectors assaulted his senses with disorienting stimuli. Yet through it all, Mufasa's spirit remained unbroken. Meanwhile, Colonel Hawkins huddled with his team aboard the stealth ship Shadowhawk. Dr. Archer pored over data streams, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The Gortog methods are crude, she muttered, disgust evident in her voice. They fundamentally misunderstand the nature of our bond with Earth's predators. Hawkins nodded grimly. Can we use that to our advantage? Archer's eyes lit up. Absolutely. Mufasa's loyalty isn't based on fear or dominance. It's built on trust, mutual respect. If we can establish a connection, even briefly. The plan took shape rapidly. As the Shadowhawk approached Xylos Prime under the cover of a sensor-scattering nebula, tension mounted among the crew. Kruzak grew increasingly frustrated with each failed attempt to break Mufasa's will. The lion's amber eyes held nothing but contempt for his tormentors. Enough games, the commander snarled, reaching for his neural disruptor. We'll see how defiant you remain when... An explosion rocked the facility, cutting off Kruzak's threat. Alarms blared as Hawkins's team breached the perimeter defenses. In the ensuing chaos, Dr. Archer slipped into the holding area. Her eyes locked with Mufasa's, and she began to speak in low, soothing tones. Hey there, big guy, she murmured, her voice steady despite the firefight raging outside. Remember me? We're here to take you home. Mufasa's ears perked forward, recognition dawning in his eyes. A low rumble built in his chest, not a growl, but a purr of acknowledgement. As Gortog forces converged on the holding area, Archer made a split-second decision. She unlocked Mufasa's cage, trusting in the bond they shared. The lion burst forth, not in a frenzy of violence, but with purposeful intent. He positioned himself protectively in front of Archer, teeth bared at the approaching Gortog soldiers. Kruzak's cybernetic eye went wide with disbelief. Impossible, he breathed, watching as Mufasa effortlessly bowled over his troops, clearing a path for Hawkins' team. In the aftermath of the daring rescue, Earth's position in the galactic community shifted once again. Footage of Mufasa's unwavering loyalty, even after weeks of torment, spread like wildfire across subspace channels. Ambassador King stood before the Interstellar Council, his voice resonating through the Grand Chamber. "Let this incident serve as both a warning and an invitation," he declared. "Earth stands ready to defend its citizens, all its citizens, human and animal alike. But we also extend a hand in partnership. Our bond with Earth's predators is not a weapon to be feared, but a bridge to be crossed." As the council chambers erupted in debate, King knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy's eyes were fixed firmly on Earth, and the true test of humanity's place among the stars was yet to come. The aftershocks of Mufasa's rescue reverberated across the galaxy. Earth's embassy on Thalassia buzzed with activity as reports flooded in from the far reaches of human space. Ambassador King stood before a wall of holographic displays, his face etched with concern as he absorbed the latest intelligence. "The Gortogs are mobilizing along our borders," Admiral Zhao's hologram reported grimly. "Our outposts in the Rigel sector have reported increased patrols and weapons tests. They're flexing their muscles, sir." King nodded, his mind racing. "We need allies, and fast. What's the status on our overtures to the Quarian Republic?" A communications officer piped up from her station. "Ambassador Zilaria has just arrived in Earth orbit, sir. Her ship is requesting permission to dock at the Geneva spaceport." "Granted immediately," King ordered. He turned to Colonel Hawkins, who stood silently observing the proceedings. "Colonel, I want you and Dr. Archer to meet the Quarian delegation personally. Show them everything, training facilities, research data, the works. We need to impress upon them the significance of our bond with Earth's predators." Hawkins saluted crisply. "Understood, sir." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Silaria, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin, proved to be an eager and astute observer. Her multifaceted eyes missed nothing as she toured Earth's facilities, her antennae twitching with excitement at each new discovery. At the North American Predator Research Center, Dr. Archer led the Quarian team through a series of demonstrations. They watched in awe as handlers worked seamlessly with lions, wolves, and even a pair of Kodiak bears. "Fascinating," High Researcher Vorlon muttered, his sensor array humming as it collected data. "The neural synchronization is unlike anything we've encountered before." Silaria turned to Hawkins, her voice a melodic trill. "Colonel, would you be willing to demonstrate your personal connection? We've heard so much about your bond with the Earth feline known as Mufasa." Hawkins nodded, leading the group to an expansive outdoor enclosure. With a series of sharp whistles, he called out to his leonine partner. Mufasa emerged from the tall grass, padding silently to Hawkins's side. The colonel knelt, placing a hand on the lion's massive shoulder. "What you're seeing isn't just training," Dr. Archer explained, as the Quarians watched in rapt attention. "It's a true symbiotic relationship. Their brainwaves actually synchronize during moments of intense focus or stress." Vorland's sensor array pulsed with activity. "Incredible. The implications for interspecies communication are staggering." As the demonstration concluded, Silaria's expression grew serious. "Ambassador King, we've seen enough. The Quarian Republic is prepared to offer its full support in developing this technology further. We propose a joint venture, Project Symbiosis." King's eyes widened. "Symbiosis?" "Yes," Zilaria continued. "We believe it may be possible to synthetically replicate the neurological pathways that enable your human-predator connection. Imagine the possibilities if we could extend this bond beyond Earth species." The implications were enormous. King felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation as he considered the proposal. "This could change everything," he said softly. Within months, construction began on a massive bioresearch facility just outside of Geneva. Human and Quarian scientists worked side by side, combining their expertise in ways never before imagined. Dr. Archer found herself at the heart of the project, her insights into the human-predator bond proving invaluable. Years passed in a blur of experiments, setbacks, and small victories. The work was grueling, but the potential rewards drove the teams forward. Finally, after countless sleepless nights and frustrating dead ends, a breakthrough emerged. In a sterile lab deep within the facility, Vorlon held up a small pulsing device. "Behold," he announced, his voice trembling with excitement, "the neural bridge implant. In theory, this should allow us to establish a connection between any two compatible species." Dr. Archer examined the implant closely. "It's remarkable, but how do we test it?" The answer came in the form of Colonel Hawkins, who volunteered without hesitation. "I'll do it," he said firmly. "And I know just the partner." Days later, Hawkins stood in a reinforced chamber, facing down the snarling form of an Urxor, the very same species he had confronted years ago on Cyrillon. The implant hummed at the base of his skull as technicians made final adjustments. "Remember, Colonel," Dr. Archer's voice crackled over the intercom, "this isn't about dominance. You're seeking a connection, a partnership." Hawkins nodded, his eyes never leaving the Urxors. He took a deep breath, reaching out with his mind, searching for that elusive spark of understanding. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, like a dam breaking, awareness flooded through him. He felt the Urxor's presence, alien yet familiar. Its hunger, its curiosity, its primal strength, all became an extension of Hawkins's own consciousness. The chamber fell silent as human and Urxor moved in perfect synchronicity, a dance of mutual respect and shared purpose. Ambassador King watched from the observation deck, his heart pounding. He knew that in this moment, the future of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, had irrevocably changed. The euphoria of Project Symbiosis' success was short-lived. As news of the breakthrough spread, the Gortog Empire's response was swift and brutal. Alarms blared through the Geneva facility as holographic displays lit up with urgent reports. Ambassador King's face paled as he absorbed the intel. "Multiple incursions detected along our outer colonies," Admiral Zhao's voice crackled. "The Gortogs are pushing hard, sir. They're calling it a purification crusade against the symbionts." King's mind focused. And Kruzak? Leading the charge, his flagship was spotted near Outpost Sigma 9. Before King could respond, a technician interrupted. "Sir, we've lost contact with Colonel Hawkins and his team." The room fell silent. Hawkins and his Urxor partner had been on a diplomatic mission to showcase the potential of symbiosis. Now they were MIA in contested space. Dr. Archer burst into the command center, her eyes wild. "We have to find them. If the Gortogs get their hands on a bonded pair..." King nodded grimly. "I know, but we can't risk open war. Not yet." He turned to his staff. "Initiate emergency protocols. I want every available resource working to locate Hawkins and his team." But it was too late. Halfway across the galaxy, on the Gortog battlecruiser, Fist of Retribution, Commander Kruzak loomed over his captives. Hawkins lay strapped to a metal table, electrodes attached to his skull. Nearby, his Urxor partner thrashed against reinforced restraints. Kruzak's cybernetic eye whirred as it analyzed the pair. "Abominations!" he spat. "You will reveal the secrets of your unholy union." Hawkins met the commander's gaze defiantly. "There are no secrets, Kruzak. Only understanding. Something you clearly lack." A cruel smile twisted Kruzak's features. "We shall see." The next hours were a haze of pain and disorientation as Gortog scientists subjected Hawkins and the Urxor to increasingly invasive tests. They probed neural pathways, injected experimental serums, and bombarded the pair with sensory overload. Through it all, Hawkins clung to his bond with the Urxor. Their shared consciousness became a sanctuary, a place where Kruzak's torments couldn't reach. Back on Earth, King faced the assembled diplomats of allied worlds. The Quarian ambassador, Zelaria, spoke first. "This act of aggression cannot stand," she declared, her antennae quivering with emotion. "The symbionts represent a new era of interspecies cooperation. We must intervene." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. King raised a hand for silence. "I share your outrage," he said, "but we must proceed cautiously. A full-scale war could devastate the galaxy." He paused, weighing his next words carefully. "However, I believe we have no choice but to attempt a rescue operation." As the diplomats debated, Dr. Archer was already assembling her team. In a secure hangar beneath Geneva, she briefed a group of elite symbionts. "This mission is strictly volunteer," she explained. "We'll be operating deep in Gortog territory with no official support." Zara, a lithe woman with close-cropped hair, stepped forward. Beside her, a massive Siberian tiger named Stripes rumbled low in his throat. "We're in," Zara said simply. The other symbionts nodded in agreement. Archer allowed herself a small smile. "Then let's bring our people home." The symbiont strike force deployed under the cover of a sensor-scattering nebula. As they approached the Gortog homeworld, tension mounted among the crew. On the planet's surface, Kruzak grew increasingly frustrated. Despite his best efforts, the bond between Hawkins and the Iroxor remained unbroken. "Enough games," he snarled, reaching for a neural disruptor. "We'll see how defiant you remain when I sever your pathetic connection once and for all." An explosion rocked the facility, cutting off Kruzak's threat. Alarms blared as Archer's team breached the perimeter defenses. In the ensuing chaos, Zara and Stripes fought their way to the holding cells. They found Hawkins barely conscious, the Iroxor roaring in shared agony beside him. "Hang on, Colonel," Zara muttered as she worked to free them. "We're getting you out of here." But Kruzak wasn't about to let his prize escape. He charged into the room, cybernetic enhancements giving him inhuman speed and strength. What followed was a brutal clash of ideologies made flesh. Kruzak's technological might versus the primal fury of the symbionts. Metal clashed against fang and claw as Zara and Stripes fought in perfect synchronicity. For a moment it seemed the Gortog commander might prevail, but he had underestimated the depth of the symbiont bond. As Kruzak moved to deliver a killing blow to Stripes, Zara threw herself into the path of his attack. The strike meant for the tiger tore through Zara's abdomen. She crumpled to the ground, blood pooling beneath her. Stripes roared in anguish, his grief and rage echoing through the facility. In that instant of distraction, the newly freed Hawkins and his Iroxor partner seized their chance. They fell upon Kruzak with the full fury of their combined might. The commander's cybernetic eye flared with disbelief as he was systematically dismantled by the very abominations he sought to destroy. As Kruzak's broken form hit the ground, Archer burst into the room. Her eyes widened at the scene before her. "We need to move," she ordered, helping Hawkins to his feet. "Now!" They fled the facility, Stripes carrying Zara's limp form. As they raced towards their extraction point, Zara stirred weakly. "Doc," she rasped, her voice barely audible over the sounds of pursuit. "I figured it out. The final piece of the puzzle." Archer leaned in close, listening intently as Zara whispered her last, vital discovery. With her dying breath, she ensured that the legacy of the symbionts would endure. The strike team escaped, battered but triumphant. As their ship broke atmosphere, the implications of their victory began to ripple across the galaxy. The Gortog Empire's vulnerability had been exposed, and the true potential of symbiosis revealed. In the days that followed, Ambassador King found himself inundated with messages from worlds previously hesitant to embrace the symbiont project. The tide of galactic opinion was shifting. But as King prepared to address the concordance of planets, he knew that the greatest challenges and opportunities still lay ahead. The symbionts had altered the cosmic equation, and the galaxy would never be the same. Ambassador King stood before the Concordance Council, his posture rigid with anticipation. The chamber buzzed with tension as delegates from across the galaxy debated Earth's bold proposal. "The Symbionts Corps represents a new era of interspecies cooperation," King declared, his voice steady. "We stand ready to demonstrate the full potential of this alliance." At a subtle signal, Colonel Hawkins entered the chamber. Beside him padded his Iroxor partner, its massive form a stark contrast to the sleek architecture. The alien delegates shifted uneasily, many hands straying to concealed weapons. Hawkins closed his eyes, reaching out through the neural link. In an instant, the Iroxor's snarling visage smoothed. Its movements became fluid, precise, a mirror of Hawkins's own thoughts. "Impossible," muttered a Zorvix representative, mandibles clicking in agitation. For the next hour, Hawkins and his partner moved as one, executing complex maneuvers that showcase both raw power and delicate control. When the demonstration concluded, a stunned silence fell over the chamber. Ambassador Gilaria seized the moment. She rose, her antennae quivering with emotion. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, "what we have witnessed today transcends mere military application. The symbionts embody the very essence of unity our concordance strives to achieve." The debate raged on, but the tide had turned. When the final vote was tallied, Earth's admission to the concordance and the authorization of the Symbionts Corps passed by the narrowest of margins. In the weeks that followed, the newly formed Corps took shape. Dr. Archer oversaw the pairing process, her eyes alight with pride as human and alien warriors forged their neural bonds. Among the elite candidates stood Ralina, a lithe Carinian huntress. Her azure skin shimmered as she approached the holding pen, where Stripes, Zara's former partner, paced restlessly. "Are you certain about this?" Dr. Archer asked, her hand hovering over the neural interface controls. Ralina nodded, her silver eyes never leaving the tiger's piercing gaze. "We honor Zara's sacrifice by carrying on her legacy." The connection flared to life. Ralina gasped as Stripes' consciousness merged with her own, grief, rage, and fierce persistence intertwining. Together, they would forge a new path. But even as the Corps celebrated its inaugural class, storm clouds gathered on the horizon. On a distant Gortog outpost, Commander Kruzak stood before a wall of holographic displays. His cybernetic eye whirred as it processed the intel streaming in. "So," he growled, "the abominations think to legitimize their perversion." His organic eye narrowed, focusing on an image of Colonel Hawkins. "We shall see how their precious bond fares against true strength." Alarms blared through the Symbionts Corps headquarters. Colonel Hawkins sprinted to the command center, his Irksor loping at his side. The tactical display painted a grim picture. A Gortog strike force had penetrated deep into Serenian space, targeting known predator habitats. "Status report," Hawkins barked. A junior officer responded, her voice tight with tension. "Sir, they've already captured several apex specimens, including Stripes." Hawkins felt a chill run down his spine. He turned to find Ralina already suited up, her expression a mask of controlled fury. "I'm going after them," she stated, leaving no room for argument. Hawkins nodded grimly. "Not alone, you're not. Alpha Team, prep for immediate deployment." The rescue mission launched within the hour. As their stealth shuttle pierced the Serenian atmosphere, Hawkins briefed his team. "Remember, the Gortogs will exploit our connection to the predators. Steel yourselves against—" His words cut off as a barrage of plasma fire erupted around them. The shuttle lurched, alarms screaming as systems failed. "Brace for impact," Hawkins shouted, instinctively reaching out to steady his Irexor partner. The world spun, metal shrieking as the shuttle plowed into dense jungle. Hawkins fought to maintain consciousness, the Irxor's panic bleeding through their neural link. As the dust settled, a familiar mocking voice cut through the haze of pain. "Welcome, Colonel," Kruzak's amplified words echoed through the wreckage. "I do hope you'll join us. Your Serenian friend and her furry companion are so eager to be reunited." Hawkins struggled to his feet, fighting a waves of nausea. Through the shattered viewport, he glimpsed Gortog soldiers closing in, weapons trained on the downed shuttle. With a sinking feeling, he realized their rescue mission had become a desperate fight for survival. Survival. Hawkins gritted his teeth, assessing their dire situation. The Irxor's panic surged through their neural link, threatening to overwhelm him. "Stay focused," he muttered, both to himself and his partner. "We've been through worse." A deafening crack echoed through the shuttle as Gortog soldiers pried open the twisted hatch. Acrid smoke filled the cabin, stinging Hawkins's eyes. He glimpsed Ralina's lithe form slumped against a bulkhead, her silver eyes unfocused. "On your feet, abominations!" a harsh voice barked. Rough hands seized Hawkins, dragging him from the wreckage. His Irxor roared in protest, thrashing against its restraints. As Hawkins's vision cleared, he found himself face to face with Commander Kruzak. The Gortog's cybernetic eye whirred, analyzing its prey. How the mighty have fallen, Kruzak sneered. Your vaunted symbiont core, brought low by superior tactics. Hawkins spat blood, glaring defiantly. You haven't won yet, Kruzak. The commander's organic eye narrowed. Oh, but I have. You see, Colonel, I've learned from our last encounter. Your strength lies in your unnatural bond. He gestured to his soldiers. Separate them. Panic flooded Hawkins as he realized Kruzak's intent. He struggled against his captors, reaching out desperately for his Irksor partner. The massive predator bellowed, its claws tearing furrows in the earth as it was dragged away. Nearby, Ralina regained consciousness just in time to see Stripes hauled off in heavy restraints. No, she cried, her voice raw with anguish. You can't. Kruzak's laughter cut her off. I can and I will, Corinian. Your perversion of nature ends here. Hawkins and Ralina were roughly shoved into separate transports. As the door slammed shut, Hawkins felt the first tendrils of dread creeping through his mind. The comforting presence of his Irksor partner grew fainter with each passing second. The journey to Kruzak's fortress passed in a haze of disorientation. By the time they arrived, Hawkins could barely sense his Irksor at all. He stumbled as he was marched down sterile corridors, his balance thrown off by the gaping absence in his mind. Welcome to your new home, Kruzak announced, gesturing to a row of isolation cells. I do hope you'll find the accommodations stimulating. Hawkins was unceremoniously shoved into a featureless cube. The instant the door sealed, a crushing silence descended. He pressed his palms against the smooth walls, searching desperately for any trace of his partner. Nothing. In the adjacent cell, Ralina's muffled sobs echoed faintly. Hawkins slumped to the floor, his head pounding. He knew Kruzak was right. Their strength came from the symbiont bond. Without it, they were vulnerable in ways he'd never imagined. Hours bled into days as Hawkins fought to maintain his sanity. The isolation gnawed at him, threatening to unravel his very sense of self. He clung to memories of Earth, of the core, anything to fill the aching void left by his Irksor's absence. Just when Hawkins thought he could endure no more, alarms blared through the facility. The cell door hissed open, revealing a Cyrenian warrior, muscles rippling beneath azure skin, flanked by a snarling Irksari. Colonel Hawkins, the Cyrenian said, extending a hand. I'm Kraloth. We're getting you out of here. Hawkins stumbled to his feet, hope rekindling. My partner. Already en route to the extraction point, Kraloth assured him. Now move. They raced through chaos-filled corridors. Gortog soldiers lay unconscious or worse, testament to the symbiont's brutal efficiency. As they neared the rendezvous, Hawkins caught sight of Dr. Archer hunched over a fallen tiger. Stripes! Ralina's voice cracked with emotion as she rushed to her partner's side. Archer's face was pale, sweat beading on her brow as she operated a complex device. I've temporarily restored the neural link, she gasped, but I can't maintain it much longer. Hawkins felt a flood of relief as his own connection to the Irksor flared back to life. The big predator rumbled with shared joy, nuzzling against him. We need to move, King's voice crackled over the comms. Gortog reinforcements incoming. Kraloth hefted the unconscious Archer over his shoulder. You heard the man. Let's go. They sprinted for the waiting shuttle, symbiont pairs providing covering fire. As they lifted off, plasma bolts sizzling against the hull, Hawkins allowed himself a moment of victory. But one look at Archer's motionless form reminded him of the cost. Whatever came next, the galaxy would never be the same.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.